Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
Welcome to the West Texas View. I'm Johnny Lou Avery, and last week you met Dr. Greg Spellman, who was here talking about diabetes, and we barely scratched the surface, so I asked him to come back this Sunday. Dr. Spellman has a wonderful list of credentials. We talked about it last week. He's both a PhD and an MD. He is a teaching physician, a practicing physician, and a research physician. So he's got a very large body of knowledge to share with us. He also came from the Dallas-Fort Worth area previously to coming to the Permian Basin, where he set up their diabetes center, and so then he was hired by Texas Tech University Health Science Center to do the same thing in this area. So Texas, he was telling us last Sunday at the very end of the program, is one of the leaders in research and treatment and diagnosis and prevention of diabetes. And of course, the thing that we're always fighting, Dr. Spellman, is the weight of our patients and the common sense of our patients. Because if they just use common sense when it comes to diets, instead of going off on these really wild diets, they could control their diets lots easier. But let's talk about some of the weird ideas and some of the wild diets that people get sucked into.
I made a list of some really goofy diets. I pulled this out of Time magazine a while back, and I thought, that I'd blame these on some of my weightlifting buddies like Joel Martin and Jack Dean and old Kevin Keith, but I'll attribute them to the real ones. Here's an interesting one. Johnny, have you ever heard of the alcohol-only diet?
No, I really hadn't.
William the Conqueror in 1086 consumes only alcohol, drinks a fifth a day, and says, "I can lose weight." He died of massive obesity.
I know, I was going to say.
How about this one? The Reverend Sylvester Graham invents the graham cracker in 1829 to cure obesity and masturbation. I wonder if those really sold. Anyway, the crackers didn't cure either activity. I guess we just use them for s'mores when we're at a campfire.
But they're great for making campfire s'mores.
How about this one? In the early 1900s, they used to sell pills that contained larvae of tapeworms. Now you're supposed to eat. This was a really bad plan.
Oh my goodness.
And here's another one. In 1903, Horace Fletcher, the great masticator.
Which
that
means
chewing. Okay, we got that straight. Not to be confused with his graham crackers before. Tells his followers they have to chew exactly 32 times and then spit out the food. I wouldn't eat leftovers at his house.
Wow.
But here's another one. Herman Thaler advertised calories don't count in the 1960s.
I remember that.
And said, why don't we binge eat and then drink vegetable oil? That didn't work. And then Elvis Presley had the Sleeping Beauty diet back in '66. You eat a lot of food, you go to sleep, and then you're supposed to dream about how the weight comes off.
How do you control your dreams?
I guess you need to eat more before you go to bed. In '72, remember the Atkins diet?
Yes.
Actually, that worked. The problem was
you couldn't stay on
nobody
it.
could stand it after a couple of weeks.
So what is the real best diet?
Okay.
Which is a lifestyle, not a diet.
Well, I'm going to give you two answers for that. Okay. The real answer is the Mediterranean diet. That just came out in the New England Journal. And isn't it amazing how we spend millions of dollars to prove what's obvious? The Mediterranean diet is common sense. Eat a little protein, eat your fruits and veggies. Isn't that what your mom taught you when you were little?
That's right.
Like, mind your own business, eat your fruits and veggies, and you're going to do well in this life.
And don't argue with me, I'm your mother.
But then there's some new research that we also had that's very interesting. I capsulize this and I say, cut the carbs, chips, and high fructose corn syrup. Cut carbs, fries,
and sodas.
Fructose, sodas. You know why? Now, high fructose corn syrup, it's not bad and it tastes pretty good. And it's inexpensive. It's not poison, it won't hurt you. But if you were to give a person, say, this much sugar and say, I wonder how much of that a muscle could use, and give them the same amount of the fructose and say, I wonder how much of that the muscle could use. muscle can probably use for energy 3 times more from this than the fructose, and the fructose gets stored as fat.
Wow.
So it's not that it's a killer deal, it's how much you're going to eat of it. So if you just cut carbs, chips, and high fructose corn syrup, you know, most of the weight problem would be solved. And it's interesting, the obesity trends in this country started back in 1983 and then suddenly took off. You know what was introduced back around 1983?
Fast food restaurants.
Fast food restaurants, fried foods, chips, fries, fructose. Cut those and then most of your battle would be lost.
And you know, as a child, I can, at my age, I can talk about a long time ago, but I can never remember having Cokes in my refrigerator, our refrigerator at home. We couldn't afford them probably, but.
I used to look for them.
Well, I don't think I ever had any. But, you know, that's a really simple way. And our kids, though, on the other hand, think that they have to have 2 or 3 Cokes a day.
Oh, here's something interesting. If you drank 1 liter of Coke, which is kind of like, you know, a big gulp, Monster Slurpee, 1 liter of Coke, in 1 year, that's 200,000 extra calories, or the equivalent of 40 pounds that you could have gained if you don't do anything.
Goodness.
It doesn't take a whole lot to gain weight. So it doesn't take a whole lot to lose the weight either.
So, when we're talking about the overweight as opposed to the obese people, we want to stop them from ever getting overweight, especially not obese.
Right.
And so these are just little simple things that you're saying that we can tweak our diets.
So let's come to the hard part.
Yeah,
then.
we've got.
Remember last week we said there's a real difference between simple and easy. It might be simple but hard to do. Okay, a little bit of science, but not too much. I'm going to distill this down.
Okay.
Do you think you could lose weight by yourself, or do you need help? And if so, what kind of help? And I'm going to capsulize this real quickly for us.
Okay.
In the New England Journal of Medicine, they recently published 2 studies, and one of them focused on what if you write your own plan for losing weight. Okay, and I'm going to put those people, a few hundred in this group, and we'll see how well they do. And then we'll say, you want to lose weight? Well, let's set up a plan, and we'll call you. We'll call it telemedicine. Okay, we'll put a couple hundred people in the telemedicine group.
We'll give you support by phone.
Right. And then the other one, you want to lose weight? All right, let's set up a plan, but let's touch base in person. Third group.
We're going to kind of hold your hand on that.
So, geez, isn't this amazing? After 2 years, the people that said, well, I'll do it myself, less than 1 in 5 ever lost weight. If you did the phone calls, maybe 3 out of 10 lost weight. But if you did it in person, 4 or 5 out of 10 lost weight.
Because
so
they really had the support.
What does it tell you?
We've got to take a break. We're going to come back in just a minute, and he's going to give us the answer to that question. See you in just a minute.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.